Sometimes beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and other times it's really just obvious to everyone. So today we're going to talk about the 5 most beautiful places to live south of Seattle because, well, if you're like us, you're going to look around and you're going to fall in love with it one way or the other because it is just that beautiful.
And stick around to the end because we're going to give you one extra bonus city that you're not going to want to miss. We're Joe and Charity with the Livewell Home Group. We're local realtors and we help people every week just like you who are considering moving to this beautiful area.
Gig Harbor is what you get when you preserve a small town fishing village perfectly and then sprinkle in about 12,000 other people over the years.
That's right. This picturesque town with only 12,000 people seems like somebody really knew what they were doing when they designed it right around the beauty. In fact, the downtown Gig Harbor area sits right at the waterfront. So you've got beautiful boats to look at, the gorgeous water, you have the view of Mount Rainier. You also have quaint shops and restaurants and coffee shops. There is nothing about this area that is uncharming.
Matter of fact, what's great about this is there is surrounding houses that you could find that are very treed. There are some with views of the water. There are some that are the harbor. So kind of anything that you're looking for, there's a style that would match you with amenities just across the bridge. So anything you're looking for, you kind of got it in a convenient location.
There were so many trees left when they started building in this area, and it really has continued. You know, sometimes you'll go into a city and it seems like it's all concrete, everything's been cut down, or it's all just really low-lying shrubs, but Gig Harbor is amazing with all the trees that they have left. So you feel like you are in the woods in one direction and then you're towards the water another direction. It's absolutely beautiful, and it is the gateway to the Kitsap Peninsula, which gets you out towards all the wonderful things to do in the Olympic National Forest. So it really is such a beautiful, beautiful place to land.
The price point of homes in Gig Harbor is going to vary from some of those rural properties Charity was mentioning in the trees, where you can find things very easily in the $500,000 to $600,000 range, and even sometimes a little bit less, especially if you're a little further distance from downtown Gig Harbor. And then, of course, to the waterfront, the water view properties can be well over millions and millions of dollars. And I think the highest priced one currently is in that $12 million price point. So your options are there for sure. It just depends on what you're looking for. Gig Harbor is wonderful in all of its ways, but you might be thinking to yourself, I would like a place a little bigger, maybe a little bit more people. However, still holding on to that same type of charm. Well, welcome to Olympia, because with 55,000 people, it's definitely bigger. As the state capital, it has a lot more going on and also beautifully located on the water.
Olympia is absolutely stunning. In fact, you are looking at Olympia and everything that stretches beyond it right here. Even on a cloudy day, all the beauty shows up. Now, Olympia has something unique about it. It's not just one little strip of water that everybody kind of goes to. Olympia has all these fingers, basically all these inlets that come in and out. And so if you look on a map, you're going to see there is so much access to the water, which makes it so gorgeous, gives you so many opportunities to have a beautiful view. And then besides that, you've got a ton of lakes in the area. So if you love a view of the saltwater, that's one thing. Or if you love a view of a lake, that's another thing. And then we've got the trees.
Yeah, we've got the trees. And depending on what part of Olympia you're in, it is really heavily treed. All the areas down by Evergreen State College are really, I just even know how to say it other than they're just greener and more treed. And you're borderline in a forest anyway. So I don't know how that's true, but it is. Trust me, if you get here and visit, you're going to love it.
Yeah, and there are so many parks tucked all throughout. In fact, we live really close to Watershed Park. And one of the things I love about Watershed Park is there is a ton of maple trees with giant maple leaves like that. And it is so, so gorgeous in the fall. In fact, that's what's happening right now. We are seeing all the leaves fall and it is absolutely beautiful. So you can get to those parks in just a couple minutes from anywhere you're located in the city and take a walk through the trees, feel like you're in nowhere land, but then you pop right back out and you're back in the city. So, so amazing.
Another feature that is very beautiful is the state capitol. The grounds there are well manicured, to say the least. It's actually designed by the same people who designed Central Park. So they knew what they were doing when they made that park, and they took what they learned and made a better place out here on the west in Olympia.
Yeah, it's a really great place to go for a walk. In fact, you can go inside the Capitol building. Is gorgeous. There are fixtures that were done by Tiffany. It's just a really beautiful place to be that obviously none of the other cities are going to have because it's the only capital here in Washington.
The price point of homes in the Olympia area is around the mid 500s, as well as in the Olympia area specifically, there are some under that price point. Definitely, if you want a water view or a waterfront property, you will definitely get closer or well over the $1 million, depending on the size and the amenities of the home. However, that is a very affordable price point on Puget Sound.
From Olympia, we are going to take you next to Port Townsend. Now, Port Townsend is its own unique thing. It has the most well-preserved Victorian-era houses and buildings than anything north of San Francisco. So if you really love that beautiful Victorian look, then this is going to be a place that you're going to want to check out.
The specific location of Port Townsend is remarkable. It sits on the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It has the Olympic National Forest and Peninsula right behind it. And just looking to the right, you're going to see the beginnings of Puget Sound. It is really a remarkable location. Beautiful in every way.
With only about 10,000 people in this quaint community, this is an area where you can feel like you can soak in that beauty and not be surrounded by too many people. In fact, this area really exemplifies beauty in its artistic nature. There's a very large community of artists in this area that take advantage of everything that they're surrounded by and make beautiful art.
It's hard not to be inspired in a location like this, and that's why the art community is so strong. However, if you're an outdoor lover, you definitely have the Puget Sound and saltwater in front of you and so many areas to explore in the Olympic Peninsula. It is not a far drive around to Hohe National Rainforest, Lake Ozette, and trails galore all throughout the region. So if that is the combination of you where you love the outdoors and you love arts and you love beauty in a small community, well, you may have found your location. The price point for homes in this area is around $575,000. That definitely will go up on the water and a little bit less because of the rural communities that surround this area. So you got a lot of options just depending on what you're looking for.
From the uniqueness of the Victorian era that you get to experience in Port Townsend to another unique city, Poulsbo, where you get to experience living as a Norwegian. This town was founded in 1880 by Norwegian immigrants and they have kept that character throughout. In fact, you are greeted by a giant wooden Viking when you come into town, and all the quaint shops are decorated as if you were actually there in Norway.
And you get to experience the best of this without actually having to pillage the town. So you could just enjoy the beauty of what others have done, and you can leave your axe at home, wherever you might be coming from.
Besides the beauty of the quaint town, you are also again, right on the water, beautiful walkway right around the marina, and you have so many homes that are perched up on a hill that have wonderful views of the water. Because it is a small town right around you, you are surrounded by rural areas, so if you want to be in the trees as well, you really do have the option to be the water and in the trees.
Something that I appreciate about this area is the affordability of the homes. Homes around $625,000 as the median price point. You could obviously spend more than that if you want to be on the water or a view of the water. However, because there's lots of rural property around here, there's a lot of options that are going to be less than that $625,000. So just depends on what you're looking for, the amenities that you need in your home, or the type of lifestyle that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'd like to also add that if you look on a map, you're going to see Poulsbo, you're going to see Port Townsend, then you're also going to see Port Ludlow, you're going to see a lot of smaller towns in between that are also on the water. So some of those other towns might not be as charming for their actual downtown area and their actual town, but you can live in one of those neighboring cities and still enjoy all the beauty of these cities, and you'll kind of be centrally located and you can pop over to them whenever you want, which is what we like to do.
So moving away from the Viking theme, unless you want to get in your boat and row all the way down, we're going to head to Steilacoom, which is the oldest incorporated city in Washington State. It was incorporated in 1854, so quite a while. However, it has not lost its charm. It is a cute little coastal town that's very close to our bonus city that we'll get to in a minute.
Since 1854, they have not added very many residents. There are less than 5,000 people who live here. So if you're looking for small town charm, but even smaller than that, then this is probably going to be the place for you. It is beautiful. Again, that's why it's on our list. Steilacoom is my favorite place to watch the sunset. Broad sweeping views over the water, and most of the homes are actually set up on a hill, and so most of them have that beautiful view. The town itself is quite charming with old historic buildings, some great restaurants and coffee shops, and there's a ferry right out of Steilacoom that goes over to Anderson Island, so you can pop over there some days when you want a little boat ride and you want to get away. Anderson Island is super quiet and really, really peaceful.
One of the main focal points of the town is Sunnyside Beach Park. It is really great just to sit there, have a barbecue, overlook the water, watch the sunset like Charity was mentioning, and just enjoy your days.
Price point in Steilacoom is about $675,000. However, since most of the properties do have a view, or quite a lot of them, the price of a view house is going to be higher than that. You can get some that are back up in the woods, but the ones that are on the water, of course, are going to have the biggest price tag.
The convenience of this location is also something that needs to be noted, because if you want to be close to big town, you are not far from Tacoma at all. Matter of fact, I'm going to say that that's probably where we're going to lean into for all of your grocery shopping, all forms of entertainment, and it does make it far more convenient while living in a very small, quaint little town.
Speaking of Tacoma, that is our bonus city. Now, Tacoma is way larger than the rest of the cities we told you about 220,000. And people wouldn't necessarily say Tacoma is one of the most beautiful cities, but there is a part of Tacoma that is really beautiful, and that would be the north part of Tacoma, where you have Ruston Way, where you have the Proctor District, where you have the Stadium District, and downtown there is so much beauty in that.
And why this makes our list is because the homes that have been redone over the years, they're so charming with views. Some of them are quite large, some are a little bit smaller, but so many of them have views of the water, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say this is the city with the highest concentration of beautiful craftsmen, old 100-plus-year-old homes, and condos for that matter. This area has some beautiful classic architecture. So if that is important to you and that's what you consider beautiful, Tacoma really is the spot for you. Now, it's going to feel a lot bigger, but it can feel like small town when you get into one of these particular neighborhoods, which are all very walkable, very convenient, and the beauty of North Tacoma also comes with its amazing parks. You've got Wright Park that's in the Stadium District, a beautiful glass arboretum. It is amazing to be in during the winter when it's cold outside, but you're warm and cozy in there with all those plants.
And of course, then there's Point Defiance, which has a zoo. It's a wonderful, beautiful park, views of the water. And sometimes you can just think to yourself, maybe my life isn't as chaotic as the zoo itself. So give yourself a little emotional upkick.
This is actually the second largest urban park in all of America. So it has so much to offer. Beautiful treed trails, and the old Nisqually Fort has been moved there. And besides the zoo and the waterfront, you've got Japanese gardens, and it's just a really gorgeous place to be.
Like I mentioned when we began, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. These are a lot of places we find absolutely beautiful. There are many more throughout the area, so if you're considering moving to the Puget Sound area, we would love to help you in that journey. Feel free to reach out to us on the number below, or jump on our calendar in the link in the description below, because we'd be more than happy to help you make an informed decision.
Now, if you've enjoyed this video, then you're going to want to keep watching, because the next one is going to show you some other fantastic areas to live in the South Sound region.